In this video, I'll show you 8 tips to get Pokemon cards up to 90% cheaper in 2025. Using these, you can collect more sets, open more packs, and have way more fun without breaking the bank. Make sure you stick around until the end because the last tip has been an absolute game changer for me and has allowed me to collect immense amounts of Pokemon cards for cheap. The first tip of this list is to buy Chinese, Korean, and Japanese Pokemon cards and booster packs. Of course, these are way cheaper than the English or the European languages of the Pokemon products, which means you are opening way more packs, which is the single most fun thing to do in this hobby. That makes it also so much easier to meet with your friends and make a big pack opening for way less money than you were about to spend before. Of course, you have to take into account that packs are not the same, they contain less cards and follow new rules. In some Chinese sets like gem packs, you get a hit in every single pack, which also makes it really fun. If you want to grab some of these Pokemon products, we will have it in our store Pokebeam.com in the future. And talking about cheap Pokemon cards, if you want to get a Neo Discovery Vintage Booster Pack absolutely for free, this is the giveaway we are doing at 10,000 subscribers. Like, comment and subscribe to enter. I know a lot of you don't like Pokemon products from other languages, but don't worry because I got you covered too. If you want to buy English Pokemon cards or booster packs, what I recommend is you do the following. One of the most important things you have to do is to use some tool that allows you to know when Pokemon product is in stock. I personally use Pokenotify, which are my partners and the sponsors of today's video. This allows you to avoid scalpers or even bots who are buying all the product when it gets just restocked. It also allows you to buy Pokemon products that have already grown a lot in price for what we call retail price, which is kind of the suggested market price by the brand, and sometimes these discounts can be 50% or more, which makes you save a bunch of money. Let's use a 151 booster bundle for an example here, which they actually notified us multiple times of stock and availability in stores. This item is selling for around $70 and you could grab it for around $28. So I think you can see clearly what the benefit is here. You have a Discord community with a lot of channels that will notify you about countries all around the world and their stores, so it is really helpful wherever you live. They will notify you about the best sets available like 151, Surging Sparks, Prismatic Evolution, you name it, and all of these only will cost you $7.99 per month. You get a 3-day free trial so you can just try the product out by yourself, and you will get a 25% discount if you use the code in the description or in the pinned comment, Pokebeam25. Third tip is if you have a budget, spend it wisely. I know this kind of sounds pretty basic, but hear what I have to say here. I think we all have a budget when buying Pokemon cards or booster packs, but I want you to spend your money in the most beneficial way possible. I would personally really avoid sealed products that come with random stuff inside like collection boxes, tins, small blisters, and would focus more on products that only have booster packs inside like booster bundles, sleeved packs, or if you have the budget, a booster box. This will allow you to open a lot more packs in the long run. But by all means here, if you like a promo card that comes from one of these random products I mentioned like collection boxes, please go ahead and buy it. At the end of the day, this is a collectible hobby, and if there is a card you would enjoy, I would recommend purchasing it for sure. And this is all good and stuff, but what about buying cards? Should we just open the booster packs? Should we buy these booster packs and then open them at home hoping we pull the card? No, of course not. If you want to buy Pokemon cards at a huge discount, I would start with the next tip, which is buy non-near mint copies for binders. Near mint is the condition in which a card is when we pull just that from the booster pack. This is the best condition a card can get without getting graded. But why do I recommend buying lower quality cards? Well, it's pretty simple, the price difference is huge. And if you're trying to complete a binder, the state of the card doesn't matter that much. What I would recommend here is try and finding cards that are kind of not that good in the back, but that the front looks pretty well. These we consider like lightly played, heavily played, or even damaged cards. Sometimes the front looks just fine, but they have a lot of winding in the edges, or the back is just scratched. Now, this is not a problem in a binder because no one will see it, and when you display your binder or just show it to your friends, they will look almost exactly the same. This doesn't only allow you to buy cards that were like $10 or $15 for about 3 or 4, maybe sometimes 1 or 2, but it also helps you to complete all your set for way cheaper than you were about to spend before. And honestly, if your objective is just to complete a binder and you're trying to collect your first set, I think this is a great idea to start. And what if we don't want cards that are played or damaged? Well, then I would recommend only buying near mint copies that you think have a good chance of grading as a PSA 10. Which gets me to the next point: if you intend to grade a card, only buy it in person. The first reason you have to do this is of course because you will be able to check the card by yourself. It's unfortunate, but a lot of sellers like to say that all the cards are near mint and they are just not. If a card is heavily whitened or has some small scratch, it's already not near mint, but a lot of sellers are unaware of that or have just bad faith. This has two really big benefits for you. The first one is that you will have a greater chance of having a PSA 10 bag because you will be able to check the card yourself, and the second one is that you will get better at identifying what cards have a good chance of grading a 10. This is so important because with the current market, a lot of Pokemon cards just multiply the value by 5 or 10 when graded in a PSA 10. They are kind of hard to grade, don't get me wrong, but if you get good at doing this process, you will not only collect for cheaper, but you will also make a lot of money just by collecting some specific cards and grading them. When you have mastered this skill, you will be able to just keep or collect the cards that you think have a great chance of getting a 10 back and then sell or trade the other ones. This alone will save you and make you a lot of money. This is great to collect graded cards, or what we like to call slabs, but what if we want to collect a master set, which means collecting every single card inside a specific set? Well, here it comes clutch the next tip, which is the least fun of this list, I have to tell you, but is if you want to complete a master set and you are in a budget, open as few packs as possible. It sounds kind of sad because it's kind of the point of this hobby to open packs and collect the cards that you get, but if you want to save the most amount of money possible, collecting all the cards inside the set is way more cheaper if you buy them individually, especially if you use one of the last tips I told you about buying non-near mint copies. And I know this is not as fun as opening a bunch of packs, but here's what I would do. First of all, I would open some packs, of course respecting your budget and not going crazy about it. Then I would grab all the cards and start making your binder. If you get any duplicates or super expensive cards, I would recommend selling or trading them to get more cards of that specific set you're collecting right now. And then you can even downgrade an expensive card you get for a play it or worst condition version of it and buy new cards from that set with the extra cash. Keep in mind that some cards inside the set will be super expensive, especially these days that everyone is collecting Pokemon cards, but the 99% of the cards inside Pokemon are super cheap. So don't worry about the quantity. I would worry about these grails that are inside every collection that will cost you sometimes even $400 or $500 inside the most desired collections. But I would personally leave that for the end and I would start collecting the cheaper cards because you will actually enjoy just getting everything together and ordering the cards inside the binder. And of course, remember, your cards have value too. You don't have to buy everything inside this hobby. So that's when the next tip comes in clutch and is trade for new cards. I know this can sound basic too, but sometimes you have a duplicate card or you just have a grail that you personally don't like that much and you can trade that for a bunch of new cards. You can even trade sealed product. Maybe you have an ETB sitting around or a booster box that is a couple years old and that has gained a lot of value. You can also trade that for a bunch of cards to complete your new collection. Always think that sealed products usually are way more expensive than the cards, as we discussed before, since purchasing the cards themselves is way cheaper. You can also trade your sealed product because that will probably have a lot more value than the cards inside that set. We have now covered all the practical things to physically get your cards the cheapest way possible, but the most important thing is the last tip, which is complete a master set that is not hot right now. You see, in the Pokemon hobby, everything is a trend and prices fluctuate all the time. What I would recommend is focus on what people is not and buy sets people are not talking about right now. You will have all the time in the world to complete the other sets in the future. While it holds some truth that Pokemon sealed products always go up in price, this is not the same for the cards inside these products. You have to keep that in mind because you can check some of the X and Y era products. Booster boxes are super expensive, going for thousands of dollars, and sometimes cards inside are just $50, $60 or $100, which makes this really big gap between these two. The reason is pretty simple and is that sealed product can be converted into cards, but cards cannot be converted into sealed product. So this sealed product gets more scarce with the time and less booster boxes are available. You have to know that booster boxes and other sealed product are a collectible by themselves. So the fact that there's only 100 available makes them really expensive. This is just to give you an example that you could now start collecting a set that is 10 years old, and if you buy the cards instead of opening sealed product, it will still not cost you that much. Maybe it would be even cheaper than to collect sets that are releasing nowadays. And this is just an example to give you a reason to not FOMO, which is fear of missing out on these last sets that get released, because the market will fluctuate forever. It's really hard to predict the price of the single cards. So please don't think that because a card is $1,500 right now, it will always be. You will always have time to collect the cards, market will always fluctuate, and you can probably get in when the price is lower. If you have other tips, please leave them in the comment section. It will help other people or new collectors that are joining the hobby. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.